Cotta. This is the show that helps you bring those leads, helps you get your sales up online. The Lead Mode Show, and we're back for another week, ready to bring you guys some tips, tricks, and insight to help you boost your business, to find the right combination to unlock those profits online. Stay tuned because it's the Lead Mode Show. Boom. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Christian Cotta with the Lead Mode Show. This is episode 6. I want to welcome everybody that's joining us on Facebook Live and Periscope. Thank you guys for being here for another edition of the Lead Mode Show. So if this is your first time here, do me a favor. Let's share this out. We've been doing this now 6 weeks. Myself, my partners, Dallin and Corey, and we're trying to bring you guys the best stuff that we know that we're working on in our business. Help you guys not just understand what needs to take place, but to find that right combination to help you unlock the profits in your business. If you've been having challenges, if you've been trying different things and nothing's working, well, we're here to share with you and share with everyone else what we know is working in our business. So do me a favor, if you're here for the first time, put in the comments either on Periscope. I see Mr. Relentless. Thank you for being here. That's over on Periscope. Anybody on Facebook, let us know where you're tuning in from. This is your first time, and say hello. So today, what we want to talk to you guys about is leads are the lifeblood of business. Okay, there's no question about that. If you want to have sales, you need to have leads. And so what we want to talk to you guys today is we're going to talk a little bit about what we call the law of large numbers. And with the law of large numbers, what that correlates to is really all the different ponds, all the different playgrounds, sandboxes, whatever you want to call it, that you can be playing in, and focusing primarily on those traffic sources. And where should you be trying to drive more traffic? Where should you be playing? You know, which swimming pool should you be swimming in? And so with that, I want to bring in my partner. We call him Ecom Corey. And I want to have Corey come in because he's really our traffic expert. Corey is the guy that we, put our strategies together, and we bring the strategies to him, and he goes out and he goes fishing. So Corey, let me introduce you and welcome you here to another edition. And for those of you, this is our buddy Corey. What's going on, Corey?
What is up, guys? I am pumped today, man. Black Friday, Cyber Monday was ridiculous. If you're in e-com, I'm sure you had the same feeling I did. The phone was going crazy, but it was an unbelievable feeling. It was fun. Now it's been hectic around here, but yeah, man, I'm excited about this stuff. I love talking traffic. I love talking about all the different resources. Just because, like you said, what pool should you play in, right? I mean, there's so many pools, and what's the best pool for you, right?
Yeah, and so I know you killed it on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I mean, we've been talking about that for like the last week. What do you think was different between, obviously people are shopping, but what do you think you did in your particular e-com business that you run that ties in directly with what we're talking about today? And then I want you to dive into the existing traffic streams?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I would say the biggest tied to everything was just being prepared, right? So I had the big idea before Black Friday actually came up. So just like funnels, right? You're going to have the idea of how you're going to execute the funnel. Just with traffic, you got to have the same idea, the big idea of what you want the campaign to do for you. And what I did is I started prepping about a week, maybe a week and a half before, started driving people to a list, started gathering email lists to get basically a view of the preview ad. And I started building up the anticipation and used my emails really hard. But that is just the email side. That's something you should always be doing. But also, I started prepping with like Facebook and all my other different ad channels. And I'll definitely dive into that shortly here. But I would say the biggest thing was preparation, man.
I mean, the grin that you had from ear to ear, like on Saturday after Black Friday, made it worth, I think, all the stress that you were putting on yourself on like Wednesday and Thursday, like on Thanksgiving, putting your Facebook ads together while everyone's sitting there carving up turkeys. So you mentioned email, and we can talk about an entire show in regards to email, but today we want to focus on social media. And I mentioned this, concept of the law of large numbers. I think a lot of people stress in their business, either online and offline. I know all three of us, me, you, and Down, can all relate to this, that if you feel like you've got a lack of leads or the phone's not ringing, and you've got that desperation to try and close or convince people why they should buy your product, and nothing feels better than not having to feel like you're in desperation mode. And so what can you share with us? And we've got a slide that I want you to go through that talks about the existing traffic streams and help any of our viewers. If you're a real estate agent, if you're a network marketer, if you're in the fitness industry, if you do sales, you sell cars, houses, shoes, high-end watches, it doesn't matter. But Corey, help us understand, what are we looking at with existing traffic sources? And then we're going to focus on social media today. Yeah,
absolutely. So as you're aware, obviously a lot of people probably aren't aware, but there's two different types of traffics that you have available to you. You have traffic that you control and traffic that you don't control. And the traffic that you do control is typically paid advertising, right? So you can control where you're targeting that. You can control the campaign process. You control the entire process. And then with indirect traffic, that's something organic. It's going to be your Facebook posts, maybe posts in groups. It's going to be everything that's organic. So SEO for Google, Bing, Yahoo, all the different traffic sources. That's stuff that you don't control, right? So if Google rolls out this big change and you were number one and that change affects your business and you drop to the 10th spot, you just lost out on a ton of traffic. And that is something that you don't control, right? So that's why I always recommend having systems in place of traffic that you do control. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because ultimately there's all these different channels. All these different social media channels that you could use, right? But everybody talks about Facebook, but is that really the best for your business? Yes, I always recommend Facebook is probably one place to start, but I wouldn't necessarily always go Facebook firsthand. And we're going to give you a bigger idea, a bigger picture of what every little channel looks like, the demographics. So you will know exactly what's good for your business. And by the time you get done with this video, you're going to know exactly where to start for your business.
And so I want to jump in here and add a little bit to what you just talked about. So on that slide on the right-hand side, we talk about the indirect and the direct traffic. And then we've got all the parts of what we can control as far as variables when somebody's coming to your website, right? Who you're sending there, what their demographics are, the landing page, your offer, all those things that we've kind of talked about in bits and pieces on the previous shows. But to the left of that, we talked about internet usage. And the reason that we decided to put that on the slide is because in 2006, I think there was about 6 billion people on planet Earth. Okay. Hello, planet Earth. Are you out there? Right. 6 billion people, but only 6% of those people were reaching them. And then in 2010, we're at about, I think it's 6.5 or 6.8 billion. And you got about 20 to 25% of people that now have access to the internet. So from a percentage standpoint, we are seeing a lot more available customers, available prospects and leads, right? And if you look at the bottom, by 2020, the estimated population is 7 billion people on the entire planet, with almost 70% of people having access to the internet. So it's no secret that people are migrating and moving their businesses online, whether that's the primary focus or, people are doing shopping online. It's just becoming, we all know that it's becoming more and more commonplace. But what are you doing to take advantage of that? What are you doing to get a bigger piece of that pie? Because we always say the 1% of top marketers, there's a reason that you see guys that are having $100,000 days, not months, days. And people say, well, that's unrealistic, or, oh, that can't happen. No, what we're talking to you guys today, what we're talking about today is really the reason why that 1% is able to do what the other 99% can't. And we want to help you understand that better. And so I want to start off with saying that you can't lose what you don't have. Okay, and I'll say that one more time. You can't lose what you don't have. And so people get worried about venturing onto different platforms and testing different modes and different ways of generating traffic because they're afraid that they're going to lose money or that it's not going to work for them. So keep that in mind, that you can't lose what you don't have. So Corey, let's start with you, being that you're our traffic guy. And why don't you talk to us about why you think that people love Facebook? What's the affinity for Facebook ads? And, share with us some of the stats.
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook. Everybody hears about Facebook, right? It's the biggest social media in the world. So, of course, you're going to flock to that first. You're going to think, they have so much data, right? So they have, everything that you like. They have your age, your birthday. Same thing, right? Age, birthday, whatever, right? But they have all this information about you. So everything that you do on Facebook, that you post, you like, everything is gathered by Facebook. And that allows advertisers to essentially tap into that data, not directly to you, of course, but as a general group. And a lot of people, looking at, the stats, as you can see here, is 87% of adults between 18 and 29 use Facebook. That's crazy, right? That's a huge number. And I think it's a good place to start. But the biggest, everybody's heard that saying, right? Don't leave your eggs all in one basket, right? And that's the problem with a lot of people and businesses, is that they rely on one source of traffic. And when something changes or something happens, their business go out of business, because they just don't adapt. They don't diversify their traffic. Overall, I think Facebook's a great source to start at, but I would definitely not invest all my time there.
So I want to dive in here. We got, a bunch of people watching on Periscope. We got a handful of people watching on Facebook Live. Let me thank you guys that are here, whether you're on Periscope or Facebook Live, because we put this together and we compile all this content each week to bring you guys a show, hopefully so that you'll walk away from the show with something that you can go use in your business, or something that's going to help you either connect a dot, have that aha moment, or come back to us and say, hey, I did what you guys were talking about, and it was awesome. And so I want to just send this out, whether you're on Periscope or Facebook, and find out if you guys agree with what we're talking about here. If you guys agree that you need to almost like portfolio diversification, right? Like if you're investing in the stock market and all you're doing is buying Apple stock, you got a lot riding on Apple. And the same thing goes when we're looking at paid traffic. And Corey, let's bring this up. The concept we talk about, indirect and direct traffic. Well, organic, right? I think a lot of people outside of Facebook just think that social media is about driving organic traffic. What do you say about that?
I mean, I think that, yeah, no, I mean, the thing is that you don't control it, right? So, I mean, just with Facebook, as probably the last year, they've really decreased the reach that you have in groups and your pages. And they have an algorithm, right? So everybody, I mean, it's some kind of system that they have way beyond technically than what I understand. But ultimately what it is it comes down to, I mean, depending on how quick someone engages with your post. But the thing is, if someone doesn't engage with it right away, this could be gold content that never takes off. So what happens is that at that point, if you have the best content in the world, but Facebook's not going to give you any reach. So what do, right? You're going to be either move on to the next content piece and say that content piece doesn't work. It could have very well worked, but you just didn't there was not enough eyeballs on it, right? Or even the right eyeballs, I guess, would be even better. And I think that's where control traffic.
Yeah, and we got a question on Periscope. Somebody was asking, can you explain to them dark traffic? So how would dark traffic play into what we do as far as a Facebook strategy?
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, dark traffic, I mean, is what paid ads are. I mean, that's they call it dark traffic. Essentially, that is exactly what I recommend. I mean, that's basically something that's you're not going to post on your Facebook page, but you're going to run an ad for. It's dark posts is what it is. And essentially, that's going to be paid ads, right? So that's something that there's depending on what you're doing, right? So that's the whole thing with advertising campaigns. There's different strategies for everything, right? So I think ultimately with something like this, if depending on your strategy, if you're going to do a page, if you want to do an engagement post, then you're going to want to put that on your page and then boost it. But if you're not looking to do that, if you're looking to do like a conversion ad or a click-through ad, it may be better to do a dark post. So it really just depends on the strategy and what you're looking to accomplish with that campaign. Because with Facebook, yeah, they have so much data. So it just really depends on what you're looking to do.
All right. So since we want to talk about like the different swimming pools or different sandboxes, whatever we want to call it, we could call it a cat box if we wanted to. But, you can roll a turd in glitter. It's still a turd. And so no matter what, when if I'm a business owner, right, or if we're working with a client and they've got a specific business, why is everyone drawn to Facebook? Because we're going to dive into the other platforms here in a second, but obviously there's the most to talk about with Facebook because it's the behemoth. It's the 600-pound gorilla that everyone falls in love with. They're
familiar with it, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's what it comes down to. Everybody's familiar with Facebook, so they naturally just flock to it first, and they just kind of get tunnel vision, right? So they don't think of any other resources or think about even trying any other traffic source. They hear about Facebook, they know about it, they're comfortable with it. So it becomes all those elements in one, and people just don't step outside the box and run other campaigns.
Okay. So Facebook is like the overarching platform, right? People feel comfortable no matter what their business is that they can find their audience on there without maybe necessarily thinking of what I would consider are two big problems. Okay. And the first one is that, number one, if everybody else is doing it, should I be doing it? Right? I mean, just because everyone else is diving headfirst into a kiddie pool, is that the best idea in the world, right? You just see everybody else doing it, and people have, people talking about the success and the results, but we don't hear about all the other people that aren't necessarily having results. So that's the first problem. The second thing is our friend Justin Brook, who's a phenomenal paid traffic guy, keeps bringing up and talking about this Facebook's reaching their threshold because there's so many people advertising that the actual cost to generate leads is rising. Facebook doesn't want to show too many leads in the news feed. And so now they're trying to figure out how to do that. And we've seen them talking about messenger ads, group ads, all these different things. So can you touch on those real quick, and then we can dive into some of these other platforms?
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. What you just said was exactly right. I mean, they're starting to expand into groups, and just they're always coming up with new advertising products for you to test, so they can diversify where the ads are, right? Because it starts to get saturated, and in the news feed, and that's where a lot of people know and like. So obviously it's an auction base is how it works. So the more people that are in the auction, the higher the pricing goes, right? So eventually it becomes you got to be really creative, or it could cost prohibitive to advertise on some platforms. And that's where, you're absolutely right about that. And I think that I think we should just dive into the next source. I mean, you nailed it on the head, bro.
Did I steal your thunder?
You stole my thunder, man. Stole it. Great.
I'm guilty as charged. I stole your thunder. All right. So here, let's move into, and this is where I want to bring, let's bring Dallin in for this, because Dallin's been working a lot on some of our other projects that we have, where we've got a couple businesses and projects that we're working on that are directly related to sort of what we call influencer marketing. And so Dallin's been taking the lead on that. And the next platform that we want to talk about is really where the pretty people hang out. And so I would almost say, Instagram is built for visually appealing pictures. It's like the magazine of social media platforms, Insta famous, all that kind of stuff. And recently, obviously, within the last 6 to 9 to 12 months, something like that, they rolled out Instagram ads. But we still haven't seen a whole lot or heard a whole lot about people advertising on Instagram. And so, Dallin, since you handle a lot of our Instagram strategy and you deal with the pretty people, tell me what would somebody what are people doing to market on Instagram now? And what can we maybe see as far as paid traffic goes?
Well, you got to remember why Instagram is so popular. So Instagram, like what you said, it's quick stuff. It's pictures. It's something that people have access to quickly. And if you take statistics over, I'd say even the last 5 years specifically, when all these social media, all these different social media platforms, what they're finding is video. They're finding that all these different things, right? For example, people don't have a long attention span, okay? And so they're finding things. That's why, like Snapchat, that we're going to talk about in a little bit, it's these real quick things that grab someone's attention. And for the random person that's scrolling, and remember, Instagram is mostly mobile, when someone's going through that, they want something quick. They want to take a quick action on it. They want to move on, right? So when you're talking from an influencer standpoint or business or a way to market on Instagram, Instagram is a platform that, you got to remember your target audience is going to be mostly younger generation. At least that's how it's built up right now. And we'll show you some stats in a second. There you go. But the other thing that you got to remember is if you're wanting someone to take an action on Instagram, you have to almost build a story with your posts, with what you're doing, right? And so you want to be strategic with it. You want to be able to build this following that really paints out a picture, right? A lot of people don't necessarily sell quickly on Instagram, but it's an awesome platform to build this presence so you can get people to eventually take actions. So when we're getting into the evolution of Instagram obviously announced their Insta stories, right? Which we know is very similar to Snapchat. So they kind of took that whole idea. They're seeing statistically that people are staying on Instagram forever because remember, all the content on Instagram is short and quick and sweet. And that's what the user, especially this younger generation, that's what they like. That's how they roll. That's how they do all of their browsing online. It's fast and it's quick, right? And so taking this kind of punch to the gut at Snapchat, Instagram has kind of taken over this really quickly, this platform of fast engagement. Now, last week or the week before, they just announced live video. Okay. And we're going to talk a lot more later in the show about how and why all of these platforms are getting into live video. But now, if you don't know this, Instagram now in the next couple of weeks is going to be available to pretty much everyone. You'll be able to scroll over just like you're taking a picture or a video, and now you can go live for up to an hour. So it took what everyone wants to do with Snapchat. Snapchat, you can only do a few seconds. With Instagram now, you can go live for over an hour. So if you have really good engagement on your Instagram platform, that means you can create awesome content. Let's say, for example, some of your best tricks or your best content that you have, and it might be something that's going to be valued a lot higher. Well, that's going to disappear after you go live, right? People can only watch that one time. So it forces your audience to watch it, to be engaged. They're waiting, they're anticipating these live videos. Anyway, I'm very passionate about it because I personally think Instagram is going to take over. If you look at their trends, if you look at how quick and how fast they've taken over in the social media world, Instagram, mark this down. You heard it first from me. Instagram is going to take over the social media world over the next couple of years. It's going to be the place to be.
So we got a few questions coming through on Periscope, and I want to make sure that we address everybody that's watching, regardless if it's Facebook Live or Periscope. So thanks again for your questions, guys. Mike wants to know, and he asked a couple of questions, and then I got one of Joni's questions here. So Mike wants to know how we're taking people from Instagram to a website, which when I saw his question come through, I was kind of laughing a little bit. So Mike, here's the deal, okay? Dallin, we call him the lead hacker for a reason, because Dallin is like, he's got all these wild, crazy little apps and things, and he finds like the newest thing that pops up. And so we've been testing some stuff, and we're actually using something that was created for ecom. So we actually found it for Corey, talking to Corey about ecom, but it's an app that we're using that we're tying in to our Instagram account to drive people to our information on our website or info products and things like that. So we're still testing it. Obviously, everyone's known about putting just the link in your bio, but that's old, right? We want to freshen it up. We want to keep things new. And so we're actually testing some things right now, but if you want to take a look, you can check out the app. It's called mostpop.co, or just go to our Instagram page, which is theleadsolution.com, and click on the link in our bio, and you'll be able to take a look and see what we're doing. And we got some pretty cool stuff. We got like the treasure map that we're getting ready to roll out here, using what people are doing with the grids to create engagement and make it fun. And so that's how we know how to do it. Okay, that's it. Now the other thing is he asked a question about spectacles, and I know we've seen Carlos Gill talking a lot about spectacles, and Ryan Bell. What's your take on the spectacles, Dallin?
I think spectacles is the biggest flop that has happened with social media. However, they do an awesome job at creating that need and that want. They found their followers and they found all that stuff. The problem with spectacles are, well, there's issues, right, with the Wi-Fi connections and all that kind of stuff, but it's like almost cool, but not cool enough, right, to want them. And so I don't even want to talk about it that much because I don't think it's worth it. And this is just, maybe it's just because I think it's kind of silly, but yeah, anyways, I think in the next couple of years, there's going to be a lot cooler things, especially with the advancements in VR and, some of the areas that we're at with virtual reality. I think it's going to be a whole nother world, but it's a great concept, good idea. It's a good way to create this urgency amongst their users, and it's fun for them, right? So
a couple people just wanted clarification. It's most MOST pop.co. So what we were talking about, that app, just go to our Instagram page. It'll take you directly through the app. You'll be able to see it that way. Now you talk about the technical and the issues with the spectacles. I'm not sold on the idea of circular video. I feel like you're missing so much of the real estate that you get on the screen. And so I think we're yet to see, the jury's still out on it. But Joni did have a question in regards to dual accounts. And so I know we all have like our personal Instagram accounts, and then we have the business account that we just launched through the lead solution. Is it necessary to have two accounts? What would you tell somebody in regards to that, and using Instagram to try and attract their audience?
Well, first of all, it depends on your goal, right? If you're an influencer, you want one account that you're going to build the biggest, baddest account you can. If you're a small business owner, you want to have probably two accounts, so you can have your personal and your business, and you can kind of do joint things with that, right? So you can still have the presence as the owner of that business, but at the same time, speak the language of the business owner, right? So one of the things, though, that people need to realize and understand about Instagram is, because they're moving and evolving so quickly, and you got to remember, Facebook owns Instagram, right? So as we see these algorithms change with Facebook and a lot of the advancements with Facebook, you have to assume and be prepared that they're not super far behind on Instagram, right? So because the space is so big and packed, kind of like what you said, almost saturated in the Facebook world, and I saw quite a few comments on Periscope where people were saying, yeah, I've been screwed a ton of money when I try to advertise on Facebook. That's kind of why we sort of formed this agency, is because there's an advanced level of marketing now where you can still get really good cost per acquisition and conversions in Facebook. It comes down to a whole nother sophistication level of how to target and retarget your audience. So when we're talking about Instagram now, this is where we can take advantage of the lack in space, because so many people have been in Facebook, right? So Instagram is in this position right now where it's growing so fast and they're adding on so many cool features that Instagram is a very, very hot place to start learning how to advertise and do paid traffic, especially. So it used to be this idea, and I think a lot of people still have this concept of kind of building this popularity on Instagram. And I think the tables are starting to turn. Now businesses can get their message in front of a lot of this specific type of people very quickly, right? Because the space, not a lot of people understand how to do it and know what to do. The other thing I want to talk about with Instagram is, I was talking, for example, to a girl the other day. She says, I want to use you guys. I want you guys to help me build my following on Instagram. And I said, well, great. What are you trying to do? And she's an ambassador. She has quite a few things. She, specifically in do-it-yourself, kind of type of products in the home. And she does, interior decorating and things like that. And so obviously for her, when she does a remodel in a house or whatever, and then she pushes the products that she does inside of the house as an ambassador for these contractors or whatever the product is. And I said, is it really a matter of getting more followers, or do you want more conversions? And I think that's the biggest area that people need to stop and ask yourself, if you're spending all this time on these platforms, do you want the popularity or do you want the money? Right?
Yeah, you just nailed it, and I'm glad that's kind of, let's use that to transition into the next probably big influencer platform. But you just transitioned it perfectly, because it is very much an influencer marketing driven platform now, and people are still trying to figure out how to advertise on there. I think it's going to be the next thing that people figure out, because it is so closely tied. You run your ads through Facebook. But there's a lot of things that still need to be worked out. I mean, if you've got a huge Instagram account, you can't target people that have big Instagram accounts. It's only on Facebook. And so we get that question a lot, don't we? Like, can you help me build my following? But it's not about, I think they put the cart before the horse, is that if you start advertising and if you start getting in front of the right customer profile and you start finding the right people, your following is going to grow automatically. If you go see the Lead Solutions YouTube page, you'll see that we don't have any videos up yet. That's okay, because we understand how the platforms work and we're not worried about that. We're going to put our information in front of the people that need to see it using YouTube ads. Instagram, same thing. We're figuring out who our audience is on each of these platforms, and that's what we want you guys to do is we want you to get into a no state, a KNOW state, not an NO, like, no, I can't do that because I don't know how. It's not about what you don't know. It's about learning and figuring it out while you're doing it. But you have to start testing the waters to see if that's where your audience is, because when it happens quick. So let's talk about YouTube since I brought it up. You know, what would you, I want either one of you guys, or I can talk about it, chime in on what your thoughts are as far as YouTube.
YouTube's awesome. It's I mean, really
excited.
But seriously, like, look at what they've done over the last 10 years, you know, and they're killing it. But what's cool is what's really unique about YouTube, if we're talking about paid traffic, right? Because everyone knows you can get on and watch videos like crazy, but how do we take advantage of it from a business standpoint or influential standpoint? Because so many people are diversified in their ad spend in Google and Facebook, I think a lot of people forget that there's some pretty powerful stuff that you can do inside of the YouTube world, right? There's a lot of things that you can do to piggyback off of other types of videos. Right now, YouTube ads are super cheap. So
yeah,
if you use glad
you're bringing that up.
Yeah, if you use a lot of video in your content, you should probably get on YouTube and try and play around with a couple of these ads, because there's a lot of viewers on YouTube. And if it's the right type of business, I mean, we might as well talk about that. YouTube is very diverse, right? There's all sorts of different age groups and such on there. If we're talking about more influencer, I'd say it's the younger age group, right? 25 and under. And then if we're talking about, I mean, YouTube's a place where people go to learn. I always joke around with Christian and some of my buddies, and I say, I think YouTube is what's going to kill formal education as we know it, because I can go on and learn something on YouTube way faster and cheaper for free 99 than I would going to college, right? Taking a college course. Now, do I think that college is a bad thing? No, but what I'm saying is people want quick and fast and instant answers and knowledge, and that's where they can go to YouTube. So if you're the type of business that's coaching, instructional, you're a fitness person that you take people through sequences, you need to be in this space and you need to be testing and playing around with ads, because there is a lot of room and you get them very cheap right now.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't even realize, and maybe Corey can chime in on this since he is the one that handles like setting up the ads, but YouTube is obviously owned by Google. Google's the largest search engine. So just by putting your videos on there, now you're getting SEO. So everyone wants to worry about spending money on SEO when you can get it by creating videos and putting more and more content out there on a regular basis. But most people don't even realize that Google will give you $100 to advertise, to test on YouTube and AdWords and all that kind of stuff, just for running ads, right, Corey?
Yeah, exactly. They give a lot of people stuff, free promotions to get started with their advertising platform. So if you spend 50, they'll give you 100 after you spend your first 50. So that's definitely common. I mean, a lot of people are familiar with YouTube, right? Just one thing I want to point out, it's pretty split between male and female. But the main thing is if you have someone probably age group from like 25 to like 32, 34-ish, YouTube is definitely something to look at in that age range. If you have a product service that's really targeting that age range, male or female, doesn't matter. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on that. And
yeah, and there's tools. I mean, there's tools. We have some tools that we are using and testing. Again, I mean, we test everything that you can think of. And so if you're watching us here for the first time on Facebook Live, if you're watching us for the first time, you happen to come across us on Periscope, give us a follow and make sure that you come back, because we do this show every single week on Facebook, but on Periscope, that's where we're doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. That's where we're doing these short little videos showing you what we're doing in our business. So for example, we start testing YouTube ads and we set those up and you're like, wow, YouTube ads sound interesting. I need to get my fitness business in front of a bunch of people, right? I need to show this house that I have listed to the right kind of people. Well, we will help kind of guide you through that process and get you comfortable with it, because it's really that uneasy feeling of not knowing what's going to happen next. I think that holds a lot of people back. And so just like Corey said, YouTube is split 50-50. If you are a visual person, if you're comfortable on camera, if what you're trying to sell shows really well, that's a great platform for you to be able to get traffic, get people comfortable, just like what we're doing here. So let's talk about the probably the newest one. And it's funny. So Rob, if you could pull up the slide for Snapchat. This is like a year ago. I'd say, I mean, I didn't even have a Snapchat account a year ago. And Corey and Dallin and I joke because Corey's supposed to be in charge of reminding us to Snapchat. And I think I've been doing like my first Snapchat in the morning, and then that's it. So we're definitely working on that. But Snapchat is one of those, again, it's video. So you see what we're doing is we're starting to kind of progress more and more towards the video, and that's what we see online. But from a traffic standpoint, you know, they're calling Snapchat like the unicorn, right? There's a lot of different types of businesses that are starting to migrate to Snapchat. And either one of you, you know, Corey, I know your eyes lit up wide when we saw this this graph here on the right hand side about the different companies. What are your thoughts from an e-commerce standpoint for driving traffic using Snapchat, Snap Leads?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think Snapchat is a great way that you can be really creative with your brand. And I was honestly shocked when I saw the graph there, the other side there. And the e-com graph, I'm surprised to see so many people using it for e-com. And we've been using it, and it's really awesome because a lot of times you could have them see your Snap, and then they could direct message them a code and a link to your site. So you drive traffic from Snapchat to your website. So a lot of people aren't familiar with that feature of DMing people links, and but Snapchat overall is really good for young generation. I think it's starting to really pick up for older people, and I think it's really starting to resonate all the way up. And you hear Gary Vee pitch it all the time, right? Talking about Snapchat. And I think a lot of it he's spot on with. I mean, I think that it's a very unique concept. I know Facebook, as you're aware, and Instagram is trying to like mimic them, right? So it's funny they're trying to play catch up, and I think Snapchat definitely is something to look at.
So I want to talk to our viewers, and if there's a specific platform that we're talking about that you've been curious or interested in how to do more with it, how to maybe implement it in your business, the best thing that I can encourage you to do right now is to, number one, let us know in the comments. Number two is to go to our website, sign up for our email list, and email us and let us know, or message us on social media, because it helps us as much as we can help you if we know exactly what you guys want us to talk about. Because in regards to Snapchat, we've been talking and collaborating on things with people that are just crushing it on Snapchat right now. I did a Zoom call not that long ago with Carlos Gill, who's been the keynote speaker across the US and London and all over, talking about why Snapchat is blowing up, why brands are starting to be drawn to Snapchat. I've got another friend named Megan Kelly, who's Megan Williams. I'm looking at Mike on here. Megan Williams, who's crushing it in network marketing, using nothing but Snapchat. And one of the stats that jumps off the page is the fact that in 2017, there's going to be more video consumed daily on Snapchat than there is on Facebook. And Facebook is, 5 times the size of Snapchat. So that tells you something about how engaged the audience is over on Snapchat. And that word engagement is clutch, right? It's key. When you have engagement, means committed, right? Like when you get engaged in a relationship, it means you have a date set, right? And that's why people talk about it. It's better to have an engaged audience than it is to have a ton of numbers. And Snapchat is that highly engaged platforms. So one of the things that we want to learn more about personally in our own business is how these geo filters work. What is it that they can do? How do the impressions on Snapchat equate to dollars in ROI? Because that's ultimately the end game for all of us. It doesn't matter. We were talking with our production manager, Rob, before the show, and it doesn't matter how many numbers you have. How does that correlate into an ROI? So just because you're on the biggest platform with the most people and got a huge following there, you might have more success in your business going to another platform with a smaller audience that's more engaged. So let's kind of scoot here to the next one. We got a couple that we got to run through so we can wrap this up for you guys. But LinkedIn, okay? LinkedIn, who wants to take this? Corey, Down? Yeah, let Down take this one. LinkedIn is our B2B platform. It's something that we are putting a lot of our focus into. So Dallin, share with us some of the stats and things that people need to be aware of on LinkedIn.
So again, with all of these platforms, the name of the game is know and understand the audience that you're talking to. Okay. So we've talked about some where you're going to have more millennials on there. You're going to have younger generation, these really younger kids. And you have some where's the platform that the business people are on, the people that want to invest in themselves and their business and things like that. And here we go. And we have LinkedIn statistics. And I mean, we're talking there. So we know Microsoft, right, just bought LinkedIn. Okay. Because they needed to get into the space. They needed to compete with Google and all these other areas. And again, and we'll touch on this at the end, LinkedIn just announced live video, right? And it's because there's such awesome and good engagement on there that a lot of people are visual learning people. They like to see it. They like to make a connection with who it is that they're talking or maybe doing business with, as opposed to just a profile picture and, a pretty status, which I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn. I was doing a lot of work with business development for another company. And, I'd look on there all the time. It was like people can get on there and pretty up their LinkedIn profiles all they want, which is good. It's a place where it's the resume spot, but it's also a place for businesses to shine and talk, communicate to other businesses. Or if you have a service or a product that can benefit some of these business professionals, this is the space that you want to be in big time, right? So I'd say LinkedIn, the best one to couple it with is going to be Facebook and LinkedIn together. You can do some solid damage between targeting, retargeting, understanding and knowing your audience. And not to mention you can do some pretty good advertising on LinkedIn. They have an awesome platform. You can see it very good. I like how it's laid out. But the other thing too is, right, that everyone, all they care about is the cost, right?
Well, yeah. And Down, let's talk about that real quick, since everything here that we're talking about is paid traffic related. We started looking at LinkedIn ads like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, because we know that for what we're doing from an agency standpoint, that a lot of our clients are going to be on there. And one thing people know that it's business to business, but I think we forget that when you're in the buying or business mindset, you're much more open to purchasing something or signing up for something that's business related. You're expecting to find something and pay for it to help you in your business. So even though it's fairly unknown. I mean, we couldn't even find any courses on it. Like that's how people that are doing it aren't talking about it. And so we're trying to crack it. We're trying to figure it out. It's because there's no retargeting on it. Direct retargeting through LinkedIn. It's not as difficult, I think, as people think it is. They want it to be more complicated almost, but let's keep it simple, guys. And so if you're trying to market to businesses or you have higher ticket sales, you should definitely be looking at LinkedIn.
It's the land of the ROI, right? If you have a product or a service that can make someone's return on their investment faster, better, bigger, that's where you need to be, right? And it's all about this way of serving each other in the business world. At the end of the day, it's the ROI world, right?
So shout outs real quick to Mike Kelly. I saw April Butcher on here on Periscope. If you guys are on Periscope watching us and you want to comment or ask questions after the show, head over to our Facebook page, The Lead Solution on Facebook, or check us out at our website. It's down below in the lower third there. We got to cruise through these last two, guys. So I don't know anything about Pinterest. Tell Corey, Dallin, touch on Pinterest for everybody and just let them know. I know you can advertise on it. That's it.
It's a
Don't
unique
go quiet
spot.
on me, guys.
No, it's a unique spot, and it's funny. I actually have a friend that works at Pinterest and has been with them since they made their big boom. And obviously you're going to get the platform is going to be mostly women, right? It's going to be a lot of people pitching and promoting ideas and concepts and do-it-yourself kind of things. But it's a great platform if you want to stand out and have a little bit better image. It's kind of like Instagram meets, it's a different way to brand yourself, right? A little bit different than Instagram, but a place where you can have a portfolio that someone can follow you and start looking up all these different, very unique, pinpointed, pun intended, ideas, right? And concepts. So I like it. I like Pinterest, but it's for a specific space, right?
It almost seems like to me, and from what I've talked about with Doc and what I see from a lot of people that use it, that if you're a content creator, it's a great platform to be able to highlight your content and use that to almost kind of segment, right? Like Ryan Levesque style.
The only reason we would be in the Pinterest space, for example, for a digital marketing agency, is maybe throwing up quotes,
Blogs and stuff like that.
To go from there to lead to
Somewhere
another
else.
area we want. Yeah, and that's the thing with a lot of these.
Kind of like our most pop, what we're doing on Instagram.
Yep, and that's the thing with a lot of these social platforms is the best marketers and the best people running businesses online and on these social platforms, that's what they're good at. They know how to utilize a platform that they might not have the best target market, but they know how to push the ones that are there to the place where they're live. So maybe Instagram is where you're killing it. Find out how to dip into some of these others, right, and push them to where your space is.
Well, I will say this much: if you do have a high, like a high female demographic or customer profile, I know that even though we have a Pinterest account and our social media director posts our stuff on there, we have it so that we could get the pixel to put it on our website to build a retargeting list, even though we're not focused on that specific platform, because we want that information. And everything we're talking to you guys about here today is to help you start to figure out where you should focus or shift some of your attention, so that as we go forward in some of our other broadcasts and shows, we can dive deeper into what we're doing, which is really the golden nugget and the hidden gem in everything that we're talking about, is the ability to retarget. Everything that we're rolling out, everything that we're focusing on is how to take somebody that shows a glimmer of interest in what you have to say or what you have to put out there, and how you can follow them around the internet until they like you. It's just that plain and simple. You're going to like me, God damn it, one way or another. So,
but again, at the end of the day, as all the work that you put in these social platforms means nothing until you can take people to get people to take an action, right? Which is why those who know us and follow us, they know us as funnel experts. We know how to get someone from one of these platforms to where they need to be, and to take it.
It's why we picked the name The Lead Solution. So it wasn't just funnels, because we're driving leads from everywhere. I mean, right now, let's talk about real quick, just for a minute, live video. Okay, we mentioned it. Number one, we're on Periscope right now, and we're on Facebook Live. You guys can see what we're doing here. We're heavily, and when I say heavily, I don't say that lightly, invested in live video. We are looking at going live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, LinkedIn and Periscope at the exact same time so that we can push the content to you guys on whatever platform you provide. Now that alone right there, the fact that those four, four big players, Periscope being owned by Twitter, are investing this much money and this much time into live video, it's not going anywhere. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we knew that it was going to be a test run. But I think now, if you read there, the stat on the sheet as far as Facebook Live goes is that a live video gets 3 times longer consumption than a regular video. A live video, and it's not as hard to do, right, Dallin? I mean, it's easier to do a live video than a production video.
So let's break this down.
Right, Rob would argue.
Yeah. So think about this though, like why? A lot of people want to know why are they putting so much emphasis on live video and all this such. So we went from a platform like Facebook that was posts and people could follow these posts, and then all of a sudden you could post videos, or excuse me, it was pictures, and then you could post videos. And Facebook started saying, wow, man, we can keep people on our platform for a lot longer time through video, right? You got to remember what these platforms are really looking for, and that's getting people on them and staying on them so they don't lose them to Snapchat or they don't lose them to Instagram, right? So really what it comes down to at the end of the day is relevancy, okay? So if I'm on Facebook, okay, Facebook works just like a search engine, just like Google, okay? Google, you know dang well, if you type something in the search box in Google, your answer is going to be probably one of the top 3, right? Google is very, very good at it because they've been around forever. They've optimized it. Facebook's getting the same way. Every week they're making changes with their algorithm because they need to make sure that people that are in the Facebook space, the info that they're scrolling through their feed is relevant to them. So they need to make sure that what is on that picture or what is on your feed has something to do with your trends, right? To keep you on that platform longer. So when we're talking about video, the reason Facebook treats live video as such relevancy is because it's raw, right? It can't be changed. It's something that's all to them. They treat it and such in the description. So this is really cool. The reason I'm bringing this up is because here's a little golden nugget for everyone that's watching. And this is a hint as to what we're going to be coming out with here soon in one of our courses. All these social platforms, when you have live video, here's the hint. It doesn't matter how many people actually watch you live. They treat a live video, even after it goes live, with the same rating and score after it goes. So because of that, think of the possibilities that you can do and tweak when you're doing paid traffic. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. So Dallin, we're leading you guys into coming back, joining us for more shows, more episodes, as we start to take all these different areas and go down these different paths. So I want to thank, I can't see anyone on Facebook Live. My laptop died, so I don't know who's watching over there, but everyone on Periscope, Real with Joni, you've been kicking it with us the whole time. Mike Kelly, my buddy out in Houston, Texas. Let me thank you guys for being here. Everyone else that's watching, we got a great crew over here on Periscope. For you guys that have maybe been following me for a while, you know that I've been on Periscope for a long time. So that's where Dallin's leading you. As soon as Facebook Live came out, we dove in there. YouTube Live just came out. We're diving in there. LinkedIn Live. We're all in on live videos. So we say that to you guys because if you're long on money and short on time, live video is a great benefit. It saves you a lot of time. If you're short on money and long on time, live video is a great benefit because you can create it and put it everywhere. So it's a win-win no matter what. So we want you to come back. We want to make sure that you're either following us on Periscope or that you're over on Facebook and you've liked our page and you're getting our notifications so that you don't miss anything that we're doing on either of the platforms. and we can keep you guys informed on everything step by step. We're going to be rolling out some great stuff in regards to e-commerce, in regards to paid traffic, in regards to funnels, live video. And I know Joni had said that she's self-teaching herself. If you're a self-starter and anything we said interests you guys and you love what you're hearing here, we've decided for 2017 to help everybody kick the year off with a huge bang, to put together a free funnel course. It's a 30-day funnel launch course, okay? If you don't really know what a funnel is, just understand when we tell you that everything we talked about today, where you're sending them, you want to be sending them to a funnel. And what we've done is put together a very simple step-by-step course for you to be able to learn how funnels might help you in your business. In order to get that, we've got a link. It's leads.pro/lead mode 6. Okay, leads.pro/lead mode 6. Dallon's going to type it in the comments on Periscope. We'll put it in the comments on Facebook Live when we wrap up the show. Of course, you guys know where to find us at theleadsolution.com. But I want to do a shout out, and I know Dallon's probably heading there right now, to Rob Hix and his team at Enlightened Audiovisual, Sam Gonzalez, Jenny Quinn. Those are the guys that make this happen. They're the, hold on, Joni, it's lead mode, LEAD mode, just like the show, lead mode 6. But Rob and his team at Enlightened Audiovisual are the ones that create all this. They sprinkle the pixie dust and make us look better than we probably really look on camera.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why we do this, is to show everyone the possibilities and the extremities of what you can do with live video. I mean, it is the future. Why would you want to watch Fox News when you can watch the lead mode?
Yeah, of course. I'm not as pretty as what's her name, Megyn Kelly, the Fox News anchor.
You are now, since you shaved, man.
Yeah, dude, I shaved. I got my baby face back. So, Rob,
the ultra produced videos. I mean, you should see the possibilities that these guys can do. They can bring in pre-recorded video into a live video. They can bring in multiple guests. We can pull up, like you've seen here, slides, all these different things. It's cool stuff. So
there are production partners on everything we're doing live lead related. So that's why we want to make sure you guys are aware of who they are. You'll be able to find them here soon. We'll be announcing their new website coming out very quickly. But in the meantime, check them out on Facebook at Enlightened Audiovisual. This is what we are about, guys. So we appreciate you being here. Thank you to Ecom Corey, our traffic guy. Make sure, again, that you're following us here on Periscope, that you're following us over on Facebook, and that you check out theleadsolution.com and go to leads.pro/lead mode 6 for your free 30-day funnel course. Dallon, thank you. You've been a champ. I know you're not feeling good. Everyone else involved here, Sam Gonzalez, Rob, thank you guys. As always, I'm your boy, Christian Cotta. Peace.